Radiant team.
Hello everybody, this is Briefcase bringing you another MLG game, changing it up a little bit this time, not playing catch-up anymore, as really the past is the past. You all know those games already, not to mention that all I want to do is cast and play in 6.79 nowadays, so because of that, let's jump into some more recent games, this time between the Joikernaught as well as 50% Gaming. Of course, Joik on the Joikernaught, I assume, is the team captain. Now, Nagasiren being banned out by 50% Gaming, of course, it's still a very strong hero in this new patch. Lich as well is very strong, being banned out by the Joikernaught. I think that people so far haven't caught too many professional games in 6.79, but at the very least, in the pub area, Lich is very, very hard to deal with. Of course, getting that early 6, you can offlane him very nicely simply by sacrificing everything you see. Not to mention the fact that there are some pretty OP combinations at the moment that I'm fairly certain that you can do, combined with an Enchantress and a Chen if that is the route you want to go, and I'm fairly sure that no pro teams really want to go up against something quite like that. 50% Gaming now has banned out Batrider as well. Still the strong kind of powerhouse here that he always was. He's very good, of course, at getting people out of position and really dictating where they are going to move. However, heavily nerfed in this last patch, is run more as a jungler now because he lacks such a huge amount of base damage compared to what he used to. Nerfed by 10. So now to be back up to exactly what you used to be, you need to have at least one napalm stack on whatever you happen to be attacking. Elder Titan now being picked up by 50% Gaming. He is the new golden boy. Did get recently nerfed a little bit in this last patch, but still very viable. People still absolutely love to play him. And of course, the only thing that really did get nerfed was his Astral Spirits. And because of that, he just does not hit as hard in the laning phase. He's still very annoying to lane up against, being run as a mid or off lane nowadays. But the Joikernaught going up against that Elder Titan, picking an OD of their own. And of course, Elder Titan is currently going through kind of an OD phase where people just don't quite know how to deal with him. Viper picked up to completely counterpick OD, of course. As soon as you get Corrosive Skin, usually level 1 against an OD, maybe Nether Toxin if you want to try and get those last hits. But you just go in, you try to go tit for tat, you give, and then you start basically, because of Corrosive Skinning, Outworld Devourer, whenever he astrals you, you give better than you take, obviously. So every single time he hits you with that, with pretty much any auto attack or an astral, he's going to be taking at least 40 damage, and that's only at level 1, so none too bad, really. It's like an auto attack whenever he tries to astral you or attack you, so very, very nice pick by 50% Gaming, just completely counterpicking OD. Dazzle was also picked up by the Joikernaught. Not sure exactly what they're doing. Haven't seen too many Dazzles nowadays in the competitive scene, at least not for a very long time. Maybe both teams trying to figure out a good way to use him, and of course, he was recently buffed, or at the very least reworked in this last patch so that he comes online, or at the very least can be a little bit more useful to his team earlier on in the game. Before, with Dazzle, you kind of just had to wait around until Poison Touch hit level 4 or level 3 and it could stun people. So he was kind of useless. Didn't really do much for his team until about level 5 or 7 or so. Beyond that, though, now with Poison Touch being a little bit different, having a little bit more of use early on. Of course, only one level of Poison's Touch is now fine, just fine. It's none too bad, of course. So now Dazzle coming on a little more online. Interesting to see exactly how they use him, of course. 50% Gaming now has picked, or I should say banned out, a Timbersaw as well as a Bane, two heroes that are very difficult to kill usually, especially unless you have someone who can tunnel vision straight into them, or I should say at the very least with Bane. Timbersaw, of course, as soon as he gets that Timber Chain away, he will be fine usually. won't usually die, can get away quite easily, especially against somebody who all they have is slow, can have a fairly easy time getting away from someone like a Viper. Earthshaker and Crystal Maiden now banned out by the Joikernaughts, just trying to limit exactly what supports 50% Gaming will have at their disposal. And now the Joikernaught picking up a Death Prophet, I should say, who of course is another viable mid hero. Usually want to run her either mid or an offlane, or at the very least give her some way of getting solo experience so that she can actually get those levels, get that nice exorcism which was recently buffed, and hopefully push down some towers early and give your team at least somewhat of a gold advantage. So now a lot of heroes that are capable of going mid. I have seen a Dazzle mid in the past, very, very long time ago, is basically able to deny every CS that you would ever get by just chancing out Shadow Waves whenever he wants, and it's very hard to actually harass him down because Shadow Wave, of course, keeps him healed up all very, very nicely. So interested to see exactly who they will be running in what lanes. The lanes of the Joikernaughts are going to be, I think, very, very odd, or at the very least, I have no idea where they're going with this one. Elder Titan, of course, usually run as a mid, but now I think it just comes down to guesswork. If they think they're going to send OD mid, Viper's going to want to go there. They just want Viper wherever OD is, guaranteed. But now 50% Gaming picking up a lone Druid, and that's going to make their off lane a little bit easier on them. Can be also run pretty much anywhere, so interested to see where he's going to go. Might even go into the jungle, which of course was nerfed, but nonetheless can be a suitable place for Lone Druid if he wants it to. Excuse me as I sip some water. Now the Joikernaught going very, very heavily into the intelligence as well as agility with Mirana, of course. So not heavy in agility by any means, but do not have that many beefy heroes. Outworld Devourer is fairly squishy early on. Only once he gets his mech and some other items does he become very scary, of course. Dazzle, never a very strong hero as far as strength goes and survivability. Death Prophet, fairly tanky, I'll give them that, but Mirana also just very squishy when things get down to it. Elder Titan, though, you know, he is a tank. I think the biggest character model in the entire game. Viper and Lone Druid both very hard to actually kill as well. Weaver now incredibly difficult to take down. So right at this moment, this Radiant team 50% Gaming with a very difficult to kill lineup pretty much throughout the whole game. Weaver, of course, will become all that much harder as soon as he hits 6. Elder Titan's just innate beef will help him. Lone Druid, once he hits 6, more so than any other time, of course. And Viper with Corrosive Skin can actually be such a nuisance to gank. Now the Joikernaught ban, there is up. They do ban out that Ancient Apparition, really still trying to limit what supports that 50% Gaming has at their disposal. And of course AA would have been a huge nuisance for Dazzle. I don't know if Death Prophet's Exorcism can actually heal. It says it's a heal for a portion of the damage dealt, so would actually just basically stop Death Prophet from healing back up to full whenever Exorcism returns. Would completely and utterly shut down Dazzle. Shallow Grave would still be an option, I believe. I'm not actually sure if Ice Blast or Frost Blast or whatever Ancient Apparition's ult is called would still shatter on somebody who is Shallow Grave. Not 100% sure on that. Nonetheless, 50% Gaming banning out a Nyx Assassin now, realizing that the Joikernaughts really do want to set up some nice single kills with Mirana arrows. They don't have a guaranteed stun at the moment, only a Mirana arrow skill shot. Dazzle's is a stun after 3 seconds, I believe. And Outworld Devourer, of course, Astral Spirit or Astral Imprisonment is not such a stun. So nonetheless, 50% Gaming without stuns themselves, of course. Lots of slow from Viper. Elder Titan having a sleep. Weaver just doling out the damage, as well as having invisibility and haste on tap whenever he wants to use it. And Lone Druid's Chansey Entangles, I mean, they don't have a guaranteed way to deal with this. And now Slardar, I think as a counter pick for this Weaver. Not to mention the minus armor on Lone Druid's Bear can be very, very impactful, can make it take a lot of damage. And Slardar himself, a fairly beefy hero, and was recently buffed in this last patch. 6.79 sprint no longer costs mana. I'm fairly certain. Indeed, it does not. So a nice pickup.
seconds remaining.
By the Joikernaught. Not sure exactly how well it's going to fare, of course. Amplify damage does synergize quite nicely with Exorcism and Dazzle's abilities as well, considering that Shadow Wave is physical. Poison Touch is physical as well. Something that a lot of people don't quite realize about Dazzle is that his Weave ability, minusing the armor on all the opposition, synergizes perfectly with the rest of his abilities because they all do physical damage. So something to make note of course. And now Slardar having amplified damage combined with Dazzle's Weave, this could be a very scary anti-armor kind of lineup that the Joikernauts have at their disposal. Of course, no Shadow Fiend. However, they do have enough mid heroes to basically populate every single lane if they want to. So not sure exactly how 50% Gaming is gonna counter any of this or run against it. Really, they have the carries they need. Weaver, Lone Druid, Viper, even Elder Titan can be run as a core/carry. They really need a purely dedicated support that basically has to use all of his money on wards on everything. And at the moment, there are not too many that a lot of people tend to favor. Earthshaker wouldn't have been bad. Ancient Apparition, of course. Crystal Maiden is out of the pool as well. But now a Rubik, of course, a Rubik, my favorite hero, and recently has a very, very strong Ags upgrade under his belt. Would love to see an Ags in pretty much any game I possibly see. Not sure if we will, however, when it comes right down to it. But we can only hope. Would love to see it nonetheless. That's some good tap water. So, as far as the Joikernauts are concerned, we have Joik, the captain, playing as Mirana. We have Apathy as Slardar. Exiled Dota will be playing Dazzle. Can I has Cookie will be OD. And Toxin as the Death Prophet. Down here on 50% Gaming, we have Axe Eclipse as Weaver. Exo as the Rubik. We have Osinkle as Elder Titan. We also have Lark playing as the Lone Druid. And Phasmi as Viper. So now I think it's basically a guessing game of exactly where each hero is going to go and what these lanes are going to be. Joik, of course, fairly standard to send a Mirana bottom, fairly safe lane, of course. And since the 6.79 patch, we've been seeing a lot more dual lanes because it really does make sense. You can have some dual lanes. They can actually fare well against tri-lanes, usually because of the new creep equilibrium, if that's how they want to roll. Throwing out a scout arrow, not going to hit anything. So sad. Nonetheless, seeing that nobody is down there. It looks like a little bit of smack talk, maybe, going between these two teams. Apathy as well as Exiled Dota are up top. They're going to be going up against a Lone Druid, I believe. Nice panda on that Lone Druid. Nice, nice. Very good skin, of course. Looks like Toxin will be going mid against this Viper, and that is not the matchup that this Radiant team wants to see at all. You want to send Viper straight up against the OD, so we might see a switcheroo, a rotation coming from this Radiant team, if that's what they want to see. And who has the better block? It looks like Phasmi just flailing a little bit near the end there. His block is none too good. And it does indeed look like Toxin's block has beat him out at the very base of his own ramp. So that's going good for him. Already leading, or at least already coming out with the little victories, as you see here. We have Can I Has Cookie and Joik on the bottom here, as well against this Weaver. And now we have Exco. Of course, they do have this ward here that's going to provide them all the vision they need to stay completely safe. Know that Osinkle has his Astral Spirit, which can harass very nicely. And now we have Can I Has Cookie getting telekinesis. This Astral Spirit hasn't quite hit him yet. There it is. He's very, very low. This Weaver wants first blood, and he will get it. Osinkle actually getting it. Joik not doing enough there. Couldn't help his teammate at all. So sad to be him. And now an instant teleportation back by Can I Has Cookie. And that's going to give this tri-lane the early boost that it needs to really secure against this dual lane. Of course, it's very difficult usually to go up against a lane that's getting much better experience than you. But with this tri-lane being that offensive, they should be doing fine, just fine. And now Elder Titan looks like he's trying to rotate mid. Seeing if he can't get a little bit of help going for that Viper. Not sure exactly how Viper is faring. Of course, I believe Corrosive Skin works on pretty much any damage that you receive. It does not need to be targeted. So, of course, with this Crypt Swarm, it's actually going to be kind of a, what is that, double-edged sword. Yes, indeed. Going to be hurting himself at least a little bit with that corrosive skin. And as far as the top goes, he has gotten 4 last hits. Lark, with 4 last hits, of course, is soaking up a little bit of experience from these neutrals that Exiled Dota is trying to kill. And overall, he's doing all right as an offlaner. None too bad. But this is, you usually want at least a little bit more farm on your off-lane Lone Druid, and has not been able to pull as of yet. Looks like constant Astral Spirit harassed by this Radiant Elder Titan. Trying to hit Joik in the last second, can't quite do it. Gets pulled back, so sad. Can't quite make it out there. And now Toxin constantly harassing, but indeed that corrosive skin doing 40 damage a harass. But he has picked up an invisibility rune. Nice for him, obviously, since he's already got his bottle. Phasmi, no bottle on him as of yet. And this Smeevil is nowhere in sight. Nothing carrying for him. No water coming to help Phasmi mid. And now it looks like the Astral Spirit trying to go around, trying to cancel whatever he can, get a little bit of damage on, being a little bit of missed microed around here. It's not doing anything. Joik throwing out an arrow to no avail. Kenai has Cookie astraling Osinkle and trying to get a little bit more mana, a little bit more damage under his belt, try to harass him down, but they need to be careful here. They know that Joik no longer has arrow. Of course, Astral plus arrow could make for some very terrifying ganks, and now getting telekinesis down, Astral hitting both. It's not going to be enough because with that, there's the arrow hitting Osinkle. It's not going to be too long of a stun. Kenai has Cookie, needs to be very careful here. There are Geminate attacks coming at him. No Swarm, however. Will it be able to get him? Not quite. Down to 60 HP, but it is not enough to take him down. And while that's all happening, you have Lark up here. He's just soaking up experience from Dazzle and Apathy. Apathy at level 4, however, against this solo lane Lark. So he's doing fine, just fine there. Now it looks like Osinkle as well as Exo and Axe Eclipse trying to do their best down here on the bottom lane. Of course, they have picked off OD once so far, so they're doing none too bad. But you usually want, if you're going to try against a duel, you want a little bit more bang for your buck. And now it looks like Lark getting harassed out, is not quite level 5 yet, however. And Exiled, Dota, and Apathy know that is the case. And because of that, they're going to at least use this time to pressure Lark a little bit more. As soon as that bear does hit level 5, gets level 3 Spirit Bear, and it gets that possible entangle, which of course does so much damage. This Dire dual lane is going to have to be far, far more careful, and they're trying now very hard to take down this bear. Not sure if they can get it. There's no body block coming from Apathy. Can they get it? Oh, gets out of there with 8 HP. Not quite. Indeed, that Poison Touch doing its work there. And now Apathy, he's going to want to have to salve up. Exiled Dota does not quite have enough mana to really make use of this Shadow Wave whenever he wants. So now it looks like he's going to go back to pulling. He's going to stack this. I suspect is indeed going to stack this. And now Kenai has Cookie trying to get some solo lane experience. And now it looks like Joik has rotated mid, trying to make something happen here on Phasmi, this Viper. And as far as these lanes are concerned, Toxin and Phasmi going pretty much tit for tat in the middle. They're going fine right there. And just basically being even as far as that is concerned. However, we have Apathy, though, leading comparatively to this Weaver. Weaver with 12 last hits. He's in a tri-lane, or at the very least was. He should be having much more than that. He does have at least 1 kill or at least an assist under his belt. But Apathy with way more last hits than him. If we look at the net worth, we already see that 700 ahead of his essential counterpart on the Radiant team. So because of that, if we look at this, I would pet it. Indeed, it is slightly in favor in both respects by this Dire team. Despite already losing 1 death, 1 free death at that, nothing was reclaimed for it. This Dire team is finding their farm. They're finding their experience a little bit better than this Radiant team. And now Toxin has hit level 6. That's going to be pretty much critical mass soon enough for him to try and exorcism down these towers. Rubik is providing some nice rune control. Slarter, though, along with Exiled Dota, Apathy trying to get some nice kills there up the top. They do indeed find one on Lone Druid. Sorry about missing it, everybody. Nonetheless. Kenai has Cookie. He has almost a Treads. He's going for it. Joik trying to remain hidden, of course, completely revealed by this Radiant Ward. And now Kenai has Cookie is in perilous danger right here. Exo has a double damage. Can he do enough right clicks? He should be attack moving right now. He wants to really get something going on Joik or Kenai has Cookie. It's not quite enough. The Geminate attack just barely hitting him. Not quite enough. If there had been slightly more targeting there, if Exo as well as Axeclips and Osinkle all went for maybe Joik or all went for Kenai has Cookie, I believe they might have been able to actually take one out, but so sad, too bad, could not quite make it work. And while that's happening, you need to realize that those two heroes, I mean, Exo, he's trying to make something happen. He's not really stacking any camps for anybody. Osinkle not stacking anything either. Just trying to harass with this, but nobody is there. So this is a lot of time wasted for these two supports. It looks like an Elder Titan support at that. And he does indeed have Exo's tangos. You can't actually share these like this anymore, I don't believe. So fairly odd that he even has these, I have to admit. So just a little bit of weird misplays, it looks like, coming out from both these teams. Apathy has picked up an Orb of Venom, or I should say coming out from this Radiant team. Apathy has picked up an Orb of Venom, and of course combined with Sprint, that's going to make chasing down heroes so easy for him. He's going to have a very good time chasing down everybody he possibly can. Toxin now picking up a Haste Rune. This Elder Titan needs to be so careful. They see him there. Toxin is just smelling blood. Pops the Haste Rune. Where's the Exorcism? No sleep going down. Gets a Crypt Swarm off. Just gets a one harass. Apathy is chasing this. I don't know why he is it. The rest of his team isn't here to help him. He wants to get one big stun. Misses it, however. Is running to save his life. Is getting shot by towers quite a bit. And a little bit of miscommunication, it looks like, from their Toxin, though. Picking up the easy kill with the Crypt Swarm and the Haste Rune. A little bit of odd communication, however, seeing as how Toxin went out there, had the Haste Rune, didn't actually follow through with it at all, and Apathy had to run in and try and guarantee that kill. He didn't get it, but nonetheless, he did help a little bit. Now it looks like Phasmi trying to catch Toxin out. Toxin knows that he's there. Of course, Phasmi very hard to deal with. Toxin can throw out an Exorcism, and that might go well. Now a little bit of chicken being played right here. Almost throwing out an Exorcism, does get slowed. Phasmi might have wanted to run onto that. Toxin maybe just waiting for somebody to get a port in, or the very least Joik to rotate into the mid, try and land one of those long distance arrows. He's hiding in the side here. And not sure if anybody can see him. Elder Titan will be seeing him now, however, and realizing it. Throwing down an observer board. Joik now getting caught out by Osinkle. He's gotta leap over this. He's definitely baiting something out. He's trying to get Phasmi to go on Toxin. Just a smidge, but it's not quite enough. And while that's all happening, Apathy and Exile Dota are gonna put a lot of hurt onto this tower, guaranteeing that these creeps don't interfere with theirs, and they're going to be trying to put on as much damage here as possible. Apathy not even using his mana to crush these creeps and stun them. And now Toxin getting the lucky rune, picks up a double damage now, and that's going to give him even more regen to stay in this metal lane, be all that more annoying. And now Exile Dota realizing that he's got a very odd play right here, considering he just ran out of range of the tower, when as a Dazzle, or as any hero, you can just try and right click or attack move, or just attack one of your own creeps, and the tower will actually automatically target somebody else. So some very odd plays here, I have to admit, and just some weird things that are happening. Exile Dota getting completely chased by this Astral. Will it catch him? It does indeed. Just on his tail end, but it's only a level 2 Astral, so it's not doing too much damage. Toxin has popped his double damage. You know he wants to go on Phasmi. He wants to take this tower, maybe waiting until level 11. Very odd, considering that as soon as Death Prophet hits 6, you can start harassing, you can start going down on towers very quickly, and now you do not want to get into a fist fight with a double damage hero, no matter what hero that happens to be, especially not this early on in the game, at 11 minutes no less. Kenai has Cookie has finished his treads, has picked up a magic wand now as well, and that's going to make his life at least a little bit easier. Needs to be very scared of this bear, however. It is a full level 4 bear. going, doing a lot, 73 damage. One entangled will be Can I Has Cookie's end, and now they're trying very hard to actually take down Lark. There's the entangle. They get the kill though, however, so Can I Has Cookie will be saving his own life there, and has so much intelligence stolen. He is just hitting like a freight train at the moment. Apathy now has finished his 12-minute armlet, none too bad, has a phase boots, and along with sprint, actually opting to get 0 points in bash. And now he's running on this Weaver. Obviously, you can't, there it is, there, you time lapse in. Just a little bait from that stun, I think, by that Weaver. Obviously, while you have amplified damage on, you're completely and utterly revealed. True sight indeed. I wonder if that actually works with the new Slark ult. I actually haven't tested most things. I would say no, but then again, it's not quite giving true sight. It's you get vision of the hero. And gives true sight to Slark. So, interesting to see. Not sure exactly how it'll go. Toxin, as well as Phasmi, baiting each other out. Looks like Toxin coming out slightly ahead in this mid lane. Has 10 more last hits. But if you compare this Weaver right here, if you compare this Weaver and how he's doing against Apathy, they've basically been in the same position, but Apathy only being babysit by one hero for the first bit. Apathy is way, way ahead at the moment. He's got how much more net worth? 2,000 more net worth. Apathy coming out here. There is 2 heroes here. He needs to be a little worrisome here, but he says, you know what, I can take it. And now he's chasing down 2 heroes. This tower surprisingly low as well. And now nobody wants to tango with this fish. Not at this moment. Now we have Joik as well as Can I Has Cookie and Exile Dota. They're gonna find a bear. Can they get any stun off on him? And now will there be a long range? Nice arrow, but of course not, because that Spirit Bear would see exactly where it's going. The easiest arrow in the world to catch out. And now Eclipse once again baiting out that stun. It just looks like Apathy can't quite land them on this Weaver. That Sakuchi is just too quick for him. But of course, while this Weaver, oh, now very, very bad misplay here. Of course, has time lapse, might have been baiting out another stun, but you need to realize that Slithering Crush is gonna get you. And if he gets one lucky stun, you're dead. Didn't even need it. Just man-moded it, armleted it up, and hit him for 170 damage apiece, not to mention probably more because of amplified damage. Now, Spirit Bear is indeed caught out. Do they want to keep fighting this? It does look like Exo will fall here. I don't see how he's getting out of this one. Can't indeed. Crypt Swarm finishing it up. Toxin does indeed have a haste rune. Already popped it, and Exorcism being used as well, getting that nice mid tower. Is that within range of this tower? I believe it is. So some bad ward placement by this Dire team, and that's going to be a free, maybe even a little bit of miscommunication. Can I Has Cookie as well as Joik just misplaying this a little bit, and of course that is within range of the tower. So very odd. They don't want to let it go, however. Not sure why they even put it there. Can I Has Cookie trying to tank these hits for this ward. It's not going to be enough. They might even fall just simply because they don't want this ward to go. And there it is. Apathy getting slept right here, right underneath the tower. That's not what you want to see happen, but here he is. He's going to catch out Exo. A nice arrow flying. Doesn't hit anybody, however. And now Apathy is all over this. Picks up a nice hit on Phasmi. There's the Sanity's Eclipse, getting everybody's mana low and killing Phasmi in the process. And now it looks like the Joikernaught, just commanding this fight. They've already have 3 towers down. This is going to be a 4th, and that's going to increase their gold advantage, which is already at a whopping 10,000 to even further. Not to mention their experience advantage, sitting at around 7,500 almost. Very, very scary to be in 50% gaming shoes. Now it looks like Toxin, of course, while Exorcism's still up, trying to make as much use of it as possible. You really want those little ghosties doing as much work for you as humanly possible. And now it looks like they're trying to basically take down every single tower that 50% gaming has to their name. Very smart play, of course, because the more map control you have with this lineup, especially with somebody like Mirana as well as Apathy, the scarier you can be, the more threatening you can constantly be. It looks like Exile Dota being slept and Telekinesis. Do they have any detection, however? They do not. And now Exile Dota, realizing that he is in an advantageous position. Exo, there is not a level 4 yet on Poison Touch, but Exo will fall here, just feeding this team even more. And Mirana out should say Mirana ult making a very nice appearance in this team fight. And there it is, all the way up to 12,000. Apathy has picked up some illusions, which of course will simply melt against this Roshan if that's how he wants to play it. They can be used to tank him though, in a very odd way. Nonetheless, interested to see if that will happen. He has 1 point in Bash, and with this amplified damage, there he is indeed doing it the way you want him to. You're using these illusions to tank. If you actually sick them on him as an attack motion, or an attack command, they will actually simply explode, simply pop on Roshan, and nothing will be accomplished. You can send them right next to him, however, and he will start attacking them instead of you. I can't remember if it's a hold position or what is it, but I believe it is. So nonetheless, Apathy picking up a nice Aegis. They are just commanding this game. The Joikernauts way ahead in gold and experience. And if we look at these net worths, this is not where you want to be. Your lone druid is actually behind the OD, who gave up first blood at that, who hasn't been having that strong of a game, really. So now this Dire team just being able to find way more farm, way more experience. If you look at the supports, Elder Titan with only 1,800, Rubik with 1,000 net worth, and then 4,000 on each of these Dire supports. And not only that, if we look at these levels, those Radiant heroes are very underleveled. Mirana, not a particularly high level as well, but he's on par with your Weaver, and Weaver was supposed to be basically the strongest one. He's supposed to be free farming all game, so this is not what you want to see happen. And now, a big exorcism being popped. This tower is absolutely melting to the fight, or the force of all these ghosts, and this might be the end of 50% gaming. It now looks like Apathy has been force staffed ahead. He's also got Sprint going, of course, taking more damage, has a Mask of Madness, and if he pops both of those, he's going to be taking he's going to take 45% more damage. Of course, he will be a speed demon. Nonetheless, very scary. Not sure if it's actually even worth it on a starter. You really do need to be steamrolling, but this exorcism doing a lot of work for this team, and Weave, of course, making them almost impenetrable, very hard to take down when you have plus 16 armor going on for the entire team. And this is absolutely devastating for 50% gaming. And with that, Apathy, as well as the rest of his buds, are just going to run all the way home. Apathy getting earned up very nicely, of course, has Aegis still available. They should be pressing this advantage, of course, maybe just rotating down to this bottom lane, trying to catch out Lark. He does have one single TP, sending the bear to get that Sacred Relic. And now Lark does not want to be caught out by Apathy, but he has been stunned. He is not getting out of this one. Apathy loving his life. And now that is just devastating to have happen. Now looks like Joik as well as Toxin just perusing the jungle, trying to de-ward as best they can. Death Prophet has picked up a Gem of True Sight, meaning that they're absolutely trying to limit where this Radiant team can see, and that is so terrifying to be in that position. If we look at the Radiant vision, all they have is basically wherever the creeps are, this ward, and this tier 2. The Dire doesn't even have that many wards on it. The Joikernauts have pretty much no wards as well, but they are just commanding this game as far as positioning. There's Superman flying all the way back to himself. Not Superman and no more. Just hoofing it. And pop. Now, they're just being reclaimed in 3 minutes. They need to know that. They need to make use of it, of course. And now, gonna pick up this last tier 2 of theirs. Echo Stomp is a possibility to delay this even more, but with only level 1 in it, with an Elder Titan who's only level 5, he can't even ult, he can't even Earth Splitter to try and harass these people down, or at the very least, zone them out of a nice long lane, or when they're trying to go up high ground. So there's just almost nothing that this Radiant team can do to try and take out these heroes. Viper is very single target, of course, and now Apathy blinking in as well, along with Armlet, along with Phase, along with Sprint and Mask of Madness. He's moving at maximum move speed for the entire duration of Mask of Madness. That's 12 seconds, even when he's not. Even just sprint is at 5:03, and now he is just man-fighting this entire team, backed up by the Ghosties. There's nothing that this Radiant team, 50% Gaming, can do. Joik now, he's even got Ghost form, and now these Ghosts are going to be doing some work. Apathy, you can't take him out. He's got Armlet down. Can Phasmi get him? He does have Nether Toxin, of course, very strong, but now an Astral going down on him, just to guarantee that he doesn't die to these towers to anything. He's going to have to toggle that Armlet at least a little bit. They want this kill. They taste blood. Kenna has Cookie. No Astrals to save him. Exile Dota. No Shallow Grave right now. And Aegis being popped, however. Can Apathy get out of this? No, he wants to man-fight it. GG by 2.5G, by 50% Gaming, saying go on, win this tourney, you can do it. And the Joikernauts take that game against 50% Gaming in the MLG North American League. Thanks everybody for watching. I have been Briefcase. And please, tell me how my camera work is.